Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back with part 2 of my thoughts on the current situation with Celtic or for Celtic. Sorry for any of those who watch my videos and not. So I'll say I'm continuing on from part 1 where I was talking about my thoughts on Celtic and the current situation at the moment, which is not looking too great, unfortunately. So anyway, I've been thinking about a few ideas, so I thought I'd continue on talking about my thoughts on the current situation with Celtic. So anyway, I hope people out there will enjoy it, especially Celtic fans. So here goes. So I'll say, carrying on from part 1, please check that out if you haven't already done so. So number 11, I was thinking, like, when people talk about Neil Lennon, the manager, some people are saying we can't really get rid of him mid-season, so it's quite difficult to get rid of him, obviously, at mid-season and like start with a new manager, or it's not. Well, it's actually the beginning of the season even, which probably would be a little bit easier than mid-season, but it would still be quite difficult. But I was thinking, like, I think that we should get the best coaches, managers, or manager, advisors, team, staff, whatever we can get this season to, I know I have this habit of saying we in speech marks, to win this elusive 10th in a row, so this coveted 10th in a row. So I think that if fans of Celtic think we could get a better manager, I think we should look to do that, possibly even sooner we do it, the better. So maybe, like, if we don't win this Sunday, maybe it might be time to actually consider maybe saying we've got to win each game, or maybe either get rid of some players if we can, or maybe change the manager if that's going to be better for the team. I think no individual should be more important than team. So as I say, I think we should have the best. We should have the best players, coaches, coaching staff, managers, maybe director of football or whatever, owners, sponsors, or whatever that we can get as a club. What the fan base deserves, possibly the best fans in the world, arguably, like won many FIFA awards and that. So I think we as fans, I know most fans of most clubs will feel the same way, that they deserve the best. I assume. But yeah, so obviously it's really important that people put 100% in. Obviously, people are paying a lot of money or whatnot to watch games in some way, or they would like to invest in. They invest their time and effort and energy and sometimes money into the club. So obviously we want, as fans, the best for the team. So yeah, I think we should have the best manager, coaching staff, director of football, owners, sponsors, or whatever that we can get, and obviously the best on the park that we can get. So I think that's really important, and as I say, the club should come first. Hope that made sense. As ever, I'd love to hear what you think at the end of this video of each of my points, which you think are the worst or the best bits, or whatever you want to comment, as ever. Number 12, I think it'd be great to get former players, coaches, managers, or whatever, who have, like, maybe even people who are Celtic fans, like, who play for or have played for other teams, like people like Roy Keane. As far as I'm aware, he's a Celtic fan, and many others like him. Footballers who have played for other teams, and like, he played for Celtic for a short time, but I think with his Irish connections, he's a Celtic fan, and people like him, and I think even Wayne Rooney and people like that with Irish connections. Also, there's quite a few footballers or former footballers who are Celtic fans. I think their advice could probably go a long way in terms of, especially those who have played at the highest level, like people like Roy Keane, who have won, and even and Wayne Rooney, who was such a great player in his time, and they've won so many great things. They know what it takes to win the Champions League or big competitions. So hopefully they can come in and talk about what sort of things it takes for the players, and maybe like come in and offer their advice. I know some people might say too many cooks spoil the broth and all that, and too many heads thinking, going in different directions, but maybe their input could be at least looked into to see if it maybe tried out a little bit, and maybe like experimenting a little bit, but not too much, like maybe in training at least, till we find out as a club what works best. But yeah, I think their advice, especially those who have won the Champions League, or in some cases maybe even people who have won the World Cup or things like that, who are Celtic fans, could offer their insights into what could help us to win more games and like do better. Number 13, I'm quite worried about like going for the 10th in a row and for the 10, as we say. Unfortunately, it looks like Rangers are playing probably a lot better than us, and like from where they've come. And like, I know their fans will, which is understandable because it's rivalry, but I think their fans are quite arrogant and will like rub salt into the wound and things like that, and they'll go on about how they're the best club in the world and that. So I really hope we can get our act. You said something else then. Sorry, our act. I do try and keep this channel family friendly. So sorry, we can get our act together sooner or later so that we can come good and like start winning games. Hopefully, we can start winning games and all that sort of thing. Number 14, hopefully Rangers will drop a few points and we will pick up points at the right time. But I think this week, I know I said about like this week generally when we played, and I'm a big fan of Italian football anyway, but I wasn't looking for a win on Thursday. I was looking for like a good performance. And as a fan of Italian football, I wanted to see both teams perform well and like learn from each other, maybe even. So I think I'll say hopefully people like Roy Keane or people like that offering advice could really help us to kick on. Hopefully, I'm hoping that Rangers will. Obviously, it's a rivalry, so. But I think we can only focus on our own game, so we can't really focus on what Rangers or other teams are doing. But obviously, we can hope they drop points, which I hope they do. I certainly hope they don't win the Europa League or anything like that. Like, we'll never hear the end of it. But yeah, hopefully Steven Gerrard will slip up eventually. But I don't think we can keep relying on that. I think we have to go out there and actually get the best advice, the best players, and all that kind of thing that we can get, and start picking up as many points as we can, and hopefully win all the remaining derbies. Obviously, I'd love us to win every game for the rest of the season in terms of at least domestically, even if we don't do well in Europe, and maybe even have to put a second team out in Europe and not really focus too much, because that could be a distraction. Like, just focus on making sure we win as many games as possible domestically, of course, which obviously should be the goal anyway. So I hope players will show that they, as I've said before, like show that they want to be there and they're working towards the same goal. On that note, number 15, again, I hope the players will show they're united and work towards the same goal. Hopefully we can get Edouard back and he can perform at the top level. Number 16, again, hopefully like people can share ideas with the open exchange of ideas and talk about what's the best for the club, what is going to take us forward and help us to win as many games as possible. And again, like former players or people who support team that have played at the highest level generally, or just whoever can come in and like offer their advice and suggestions. Like maybe Celtic should have like an open exchange of ideas and a think tank so that we can get the best ideas to be shared and that sort of thing. Number 17, again, I really hope that we can kick on and start winning as many games as possible and like catch up as quick as possible and hopefully see this season through. Hopefully coronavirus won't like ruin it and we can see the season through and win as many games as possible. 18, it's hard to be positive, but I think it would be good if, I know some people talk about positive thinking, maybe if we could be positive it might help, but I think if people think that the manager's tactics are too stale or they can't win us the game, then I think changes need to be made as well. Like, and also, like I say, I think players should come out and be honest and say whether they want to be there or not, or whether they want to leave the club or whatever, and shouldn't let the fans down. So I think they should go out there and put 100% in. Maybe like people should, if they don't think players are putting 100% in, maybe they should name players who like give a player reviews and ratings and like talk about how and maybe like shame some of those players who aren't putting 100% in. Feels a bit harsh to do, but especially like maybe on a positive side, like talk about the players who we think are playing really well and giving 100%, and like maybe they should be like those players who are putting 100% should be like acknowledged and maybe even should get better pay and things like that. Number 19, again, hopefully my ideas will make some positive. I don't know if I'm just like, also I'm expressing myself, but I don't know if my ideas will make any positives, but I hope they will make some changes or make people think, or at least give some ideas to think about. Number 20, in the future, I'd love for dyslexic people to show what creative ideas we can have to benefit Celtic as well as Italian football. I hope that wasn't too cringeworthy, and as ever, please let me know what you think. Peace and love.